energy of God in everybody. So every man is a potential God. Because the creative energy we saw from the beginning in God, the same creative. Now this is the goal of humanity. If mankind is able to bring the light within him out, man has the power to take his body to heaven where God belongs. So for the Christians, you know that there was a time Jesus lifted himself up and left this world without being opposed. The energy within him. It is possible your body can be transformed for you to become as perfect as God is perfect. Now the big question I want to ask, have you ever asked yourself, why were you created? Have you ever asked yourself? Now, is it not a joke? Now, I've come to Accra for about 2 months. I'm coming to do a program. And because of that, before I came, I knew why I was coming. So now let's say I hire a whole house and waste all my time by going around the city and just visiting places just to enjoy myself. At the end of the expiry of my agreement, tenancy agreement, I'll be informed you are leaving. Now ask myself, oh, so what have I achieved? But when I was coming here, I knew what I was about, so I spent every time profitably. So if you know why you are on this earth, you spend your time profitably and not chase about vanity. You should make your time very profitable and know the value. Now, the value of man. The great intelligence versus the psychic intelligence. Now, this is God, and God has created you in his image and likeness. Now, God is light, and God has everlasting life. God is immortal. He has no end. He has put into man his creative energy so that man can also attain that level of consciousness forever and ever. Once man has attained that, the physical consciousness, the shell, the human being you see is just a shell. It has an expiry date. It is only what is inside you that doesn't have an expiry date. Your expiry date, you came to this world, you have rented an apartment. Maximum 100 days, 100 years, you are going. That's the end of your tenancy agreement. You are going. Whether you like it or not, you go. So your physical self doesn't have any permanent status, but your soul continues. I was asking somebody, when you die, where are you going? He said, I'm going to heaven. I asked him, what parts are you going with your physical? No. It is my soul that will go to heaven. I was asking the person, where did your soul come from? It came from God. Why didn't he choose to create you there but brought you here? It means that there's a purpose for which he brought you here. And we must know that purpose and live accordingly. We are actually joking. We have to look for the purpose of creation and the goal of humanity. Why? I'll be the most stupid person if I waste all my time to service my physical self. And at the end of the day, I leave everything with the flesh. And my soul walks out and looks back and asks me, what have you achieved? When I'm entering, I came naked and I'm going naked. So all that I labored for what? There's more to life. So now, you are the most intelligent. The answer is not your psychic intelligence. Psychic intelligence, but no power to abuse. But no power to abuse. Soul expands. They are moving from state to state. Man will finally overcome the dance gravity in him. By then it has acquired all the knowledge and power and everything about God. We are here to be like God. That is why we are here. The school we go, the school we attend, is to acquire what I call employable skills, because so that I can get a job to do. But that is not knowledge that takes us out of this world. So I'm a professor, and so what? How this body will go down, the professor will go down. It is my soul that matters. Now, let's talk about the school of life. Assuming the hen started a school, it started from the first stage, second stage, the third stage. Gradually, it was gaining consciousness about the mother hen. The same way, like the missions here, you know, when you go to school, you have a program. Let's say School of Agric, you have a program. Everything about Agric is in the program. You start level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, what have you. At the end of the level 4, you should acquire everything about the program. Then you become a qualified. Then you get your certificate. Now, if you want to be like God, it's all about life. God is life. So the school that you must attend is the school of life that has no physical barriers. God has created everything, and everything is inside you, just as like the mother hen created the egg. So when Jesus told his disciples, when they say, no, here, go there, go not after them. For the kingdom of God is what? Inside you. If the kingdom of God is inside you, why am I going to look for it? Why the kingdom of God is inside you is that the light of God is inside you. The creative energy of God is inside you. And this is what is going to transform you to become like God in his image and likeness. He brought you here into the school. Now, I'm a professor. I want my child to become a professor. So I just give my child that title just because I am a professor. It is not so. You were given the professorship because of the knowledge you have acquired. So your child can only become a professor like you when your child has gone through the same knowledge acquisition. Else the child can never be like you. So if you want to be like God, you should not sit down and say that I can be like God because God is light and God is knowledge and God created the entire universe. So if you want to be like God, one day when you become like God, you can also create a universe as God has created the universe. Now this is the school of life where we start from. Now, this is where, you see, this is your soul. And this is the physical plane. Level of consciousness of God. Now your soul enters this realm through the door of birth. Then it takes a physical body. Now it has been absorbed into the school. So it is this physical body that is going to use to nurture the soul. So by the door of birth, you enter. By the door of death, you leave it. It is like you entered the school. At the end of the semester, you leave. You leave everything there, you go and come back and continue. When you learn, make good use of your time, you see that the soul is increasing. It is becoming light and it is overcoming the darkness that initially was. Then you are getting closer to God. The consciousness of God is being built in you. Closer you are getting to God, and the time will come, you cannot come again because you have overcome. But the school of life, once you become, I was asking my friend and brother, Dr. Nori, are you still a student at TTU? Oh no, I'm a registrar, yes. Because you have completed the school, you cannot go there, but you come there as a teacher. You get it? So this is what we must do. When you are on this earth, you take the human body, and the human body is what has given you the opportunity to become God. Now when we come here, we think that it's because of money we are here. That is why this being part of the peace, the blueprint. We think that we came to this world because of money, so we don't know any other thing. We kill, spread falsehood, do whatever we want to do to this body, for this body to be satisfied. But we have forgotten that we sleep every day and wake up. When you wake up, before you come to meet the properties you have, one day you sleep and one day you will not come back. So you see how waste that becomes. We don't even have control over when to sleep and when you need to wake up. Just tell yourself, I'm not going to sleep for 1 month. It is impossible. You can't. Things you have acquired, they are not yours. The purpose of your existence must be strictly adhered to. And when we take this into ourselves, it will go a long way to when we are behaving towards other human beings. You know that the creative energy. So we are all one family. There should be no discrimination. There should be no racism. We are all one people of the same. And I tell you honestly, the soul in you is the same soul in the white man, the same soul in the blue man, and the same soul in everyone. Everybody was created by God equally, but differently classified in a way of living their lives, making discrimination totally unnecessary. Oh, Professor, okay, fine. Maybe a child like this may have a bigger soul than myself. You see, so we should value souls. So we should not look at the body differences and where we find ourselves. Then it will give us the opportunity to love human beings, to be truthful to human beings, so that we have that peace that we're looking for. So this is the cycle of life. You start the world, you come into the world as a small soul. The more it goes, you increase in size. And the knowledge that the soul in you, that the real self increases. And eventually you join God and become as perfect as God is. Now, this is the interwoven structure of God and man. Whatever God has created, every human being that God has created, and He has put His spirit in him, his soul, every man is connected to God. So this is the interwoven structure of God and man. And that is why you meditate. You don't speak. You keep quiet and you meditate, and it gets to God, because He is already connected to you. You enter into a room that nobody is there, you speak and God hears, because you are already connected to Him. Now, if you are connected to God, and somebody also connected to God, when you are killing somebody, who are you killing? When you are destroying somebody, who are you destroying? And after that, you go and kneel down and pray to that same God. What are you doing? The reason why we should lay emphasis on the value of man. Now, coming to viewer discretion is advised. Look at how man has turned into. And you understand what I'm saying. Man doesn't know that the human being he's torturing or doing anything to is his own brother and his own sister. And they are all coming from one same God that he says he's serving. So when you do that, when you sin against man, that is why when you sin against man, go and beg that man before you go and kneel down to pray. Well, you have sinned against God, so don't go to God to ask anything. Yes. So you see how wicked we become. If you know, we value man and we see man as ourselves. Do unto others what you want others to do unto you. And these people doing that, when you are coming to their house, they will block the way with huge security that you cannot enter. You are preventing your children to be killed. And you kill others. For what? What do you want to achieve? And I'm telling you, it's all vanity. You make nothing out of it. You see? Yes. The person you saw is a brother, is a sister like you also. You also have sisters. Look at what is happening. And some people will be applauding. But from today, let's the emphasis on the value of man. And we go a long way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've come to the part 2, that is the fundamental law of peace. Before we can talk about the laws of peace, first, peace is achieved for man, by man, and by men. Nobody offends God if he has not offended any man. Nobody can offend God. You are God, you cannot see. So how can you offend him? You can't slap him. How do you offend him? But when I slap this my beautiful queen mother, that is why I offended God. When I support her, that is why I supported God. So the good I do is for humanity, and the bad I do the same. So whatever we do to man, we should see it as doing to God, seriously. Then let's come to the fundamental law of peace. Then let us apply this and see if we can get there. Now, during the process of the measures of creating, it was rather that the spark of light was a form of energy that finally dominated, and that was the positive energy. In a sense, in the rest, the spark of light was love. The dense gravity was also a form of energy that, even though seemed to be opposing from the beginning, rather nurtured the spark of light to attain immortal consciousness. There was the negative energy in the equation of life. Now, when you add +1 to -1, definitely you get 0. So, the form of energy, that is where the light started reacting with the darkness. So it was the positive energy that was growing and the negative energy was opposing. Now you can only overcome when you are challenged, when you are opposed. When nobody opposes you, you don't do anything. Assuming we are here and we don't have any challenges, we will never develop anything because we don't need anything to develop. And you see that development, scientific development technologies are coming from necessities of life. So when we are confronted with challenges, that is where we create. And the more we create, the more we advance. So when we are not opposed, we don't grow. So this brings us to the equation +1 - 1 is equal to 0. Now the +1 represents the love, Minus 1 represents the truth, and the 0 represents peace. Why? Plus 1, love grows. But truth is always static. Truth does not grow. Truth is true, it doesn't grow. So it is love that overcomes the truth. And when it overcomes the truth, they form a neutral, this being 0. And this brings out the equation plus 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. And this makes God a status of equilibrium. He's so perfect that he has every quality in him, the positive in him, the negative in him, and the neutral also is also in him. So he can punish and he can be merciful. So we have the 3 unique laws: the perfect law, the divine law, and the neutral law. And these 3 come together to create the fundamental law of peace. Now, these 3 principles, these 3 qualities. Now, for the Christians, Jesus said, Father, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What is the will of God that is done in heaven? Apart from truth and apart from love, what again? Well, God is love and God is truth. And because of that, His peace. And in heaven, there's absolute peace, serious peace, because there's no hatred, there's no falsehood, there's no backbiting, there's no stealing, there's no robbery, there's no corruption. And because of that, you can't set a police station in heaven. So if the world needs that peace, the world must also apply the fundamental law of peace. That is love and truth. And we can get the peace that we are looking for. The 2 energies came together, to form another energy called peace, to attain a perfect state of equilibrium. This brought us to the equation love plus 2 equal to V, and this is the fundamental law of peace. Any qualities opposite to these qualities in this equation, love plus 2 equal to peace, is a breach of peace. Sustainable peace can only be achieved if humankind recognizes these fundamental principles and live by them. That is all. We don't need too many theories. What we need is to love thy neighbor as thyself, and the world will know peace. For politicians, very few you become president over Ghana. What you can also advise is that whatever you are going to do, know that you are going to serve the human beings who have been entrusted into your hands. They are not your subjects. They are your children that you must love and be truthful to them at all times. You should be accountable to your children. If you don't have money, let your children know that I don't have. And your children will help you to find money. But if you don't have money, and they see you with doing certain things, then your own children will come after you, and that is where peace cannot exist in your own home. So the fundamental principles are practical living qualities. Peace cannot be achieved in a vacuum. Peace is not in a vacuum. Wherever you find peace, you will see love there and you see truth there. These 2 principles will come together and find peace. So anytime we say there's peace, you see love there and you see truth there. Am I lying? Very good. But anytime there's hatred and falsehood, then chaos starts. After the model was created, the natural law, which we call nature, was instituted to govern the entire universe. Now, after the mortal realm, now the universe has been created. Now a world has been created. So there should be a law to govern it. So nature, the natural law which we call nature, was instituted to govern the entire universe, making the universe autonomous. The natural law serves as the constitution and the regulating mechanism that controls everything in space. Within the natural law, a system called the pivot of justice was instituted to make sure man does not deviate from the fundamental law of peace. Adherence to the fundamental law is mandatory and not a choice. Now, this is the pivot of justice. The pivot of justice is always in equilibrium. It means that when you love and you are truthful, there will be peace. Now, when Adam and Eve were created, according to the Bible, I want to quote, when they were created and they had not done anything, the pivot of justice was in equilibrium. So they were enjoying life everywhere. They were moving up and down. When they started sinning, they started facing punishment. And their peace started taking. So it means that when you are in equilibrium, you maintain equilibrium and make sure that you rather upgrade but not downgrade. Now, when the soul is created, the pivot of justice will be in a state of equilibrium, so the soul enjoys peace. When the soul begins to sin, the pivot of justice begins to tilt, creating darkness in the soul, thereby attracting negative energy to compromise this peace of the individual. This comes as a punishment to the soul. This is a fundamental principle, so there's no way anyone can escape. The more one sins, the pivot of justice continues a downward trend, thereby worsening the situation by bringing more negative energies to take one's peace away. The problem is, don't think that when you amass wealth, you are peace. When you go through the crude ways, nature will take from you the light and bring you the negative energies. Even though you see the monies, but you suffer for it. So, we should not see peace as something that somebody creates for us. We create the peace for ourselves. By doing the right thing, individual peace must be achieved individually. And if you don't pursue the agenda of achieving individual peace, global peace can never be achieved. We will compromise that peace because I am a liar and I will continue to be a liar. So I will never effect changes in anywhere I am. Wherever I am, there will be problem. So it's all about the mindset. We should change the mindset and live the good qualities. At a certain time, we put problems. We always put fingers at politicians and leadership. I tell you honestly, we are contributors to our own problems. And in your own home, what can you do to ensure that your own home has that peace? The peace I'm talking about, it should be within your own families, within your own homes, within your own workplaces, within your communities, and everywhere. You don't expect the government to bring you that peace. Be a contributor to peace. For everybody is an ambassador of peace. Now, this is the pivot of justice. You see, when it is in equilibrium, so when we sin, then it tilts, and darkness gets into your system and takes your peace away. So, assuming I've stolen a lot of monies, I built myself beautiful mansions and beautiful, I bought planes and what have you. Nature has already taken away some peace out. and filled me with negative energies. And it is attached to my soul. If I don't get it here, I'll get it somewhere. You can't free it. You can't run away from it. Don't think that I will die and go. You lie. You pay for it. Your soul is going to pay for it. So if you know that, then don't tell yourself, let's eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. No. You don't die. You're living forever. It will just be a change of house. But the Lord will follow you wherever you are. When I commit any offense and I run out from Accra to Cape Coast, would the law in Ghana not chase me and get me there and imprison me? It will get me. So we cannot run away from the national law. And we should keep that in mind. Absence of war and conflict as being perceived. But when one is inwardly and emotionally satisfied with one's circumstances, and such satisfaction must have a positive impact on himself, his neighbor, his environment, and the world at large. So peace is not just absence of conflict. It's when you are inwardly and emotionally satisfied. So if I've done a lot of things, I have a whole money and I cannot sleep, I'm not satisfied. Emotionally, I'm not satisfied. Inwardly, I'm not satisfied. And the peace I don't have. So we should not just talk about the peace outside, the peace within. Individual peace, therefore, can be achieved when everyone does the right thing. This is the fundamental principle. You can't run away from it. Sin is committed when one kills against the fundamental law of peace. Even though man has the right, but the rights are subjective to the fundamental law of peace. We talk about human rights, that is okay. But human rights must be subjected to the fundamental law of peace. If I do anything that will affect me negatively and the one around me negatively, it is not peace. Even though I am satisfied with it, but it is negatively impacting the society. And that cannot be accepted as a fundamental, as a human right. A right must be impactful. I should have come here naked, and I believe that nobody would have been able to see that and look at me. Why? Just because it is abnormal. Though that is my right. So I should also look at right. My right should be fundamental, subjected to. My right should be subjected to the fundamental law of peace. So I should know that, though things that I do I have my own rights, but make sure they don't inflict on other people's rights. This means that whatever man does has its positive and negative impact on himself, environment, and the society. One's negative behavior has a negative impact on oneself and the society. One positive behavior has a positive impact on oneself and the society. And that is true. Two people can go to war and it will affect multitude of people. It's all about behaviors. So if two people are tamed, they begin to go by the fundamental law, they begin to lie, they begin to be truthful. You see that wars that we are facing all over the world will come down. Because it is not about just trying to protect my territory, but I also look at the human lives that I will be destroying. And know that the human beings that I'm destroying, as humans as myself, and they are the most precious thing God has ever created. So before I plan to go and kill, I tell myself, they are also human beings as myself. I can't. And the wars will stop. So when you grow a mango seed, you reap a mango fruit. When you grow a tomato fruit, you reap a tomato fruit. So whatsoever you sow, so shall you reap. If you sow hatred, you reap it. If you sow good, you reap it. Now, let us look at the good qualities that can promote the peace I'm talking about. Love and truth always brings us peace. Am I lying? Negative. Hatred and falsehood always brings us what? Chaos. So which of the two should we choose? Which of the two should we choose? Which of these two should we choose? Yes. Then if all of us convince ourselves to choose this, then we should vow within ourselves to live these principles, to live these qualities. And this should be the beginning of the way to peace. And that peace is going to be sustainable. Because once I've accepted to live in peace with my sister and my brother, and I don't have anything again to battle about, to fight about. So it becomes sustainable. Now, if I and Nana Ima has a problem, somebody comes and resolves. Well, the qualities in me and the qualities in her has no change. We will come back to fight. We will come back. It's a temporary way of resolving issues, but permanently it should be change of qualities. And the positive qualities will affect the positive settlement that we have, and it becomes sustainable. Now, attributes of love. You see how beautiful: selflessness, affection, empathy, compassion, respect, trust, commitment. Which of these will bring chaos? None. Attributes of truth. Yes, accuracy, consistency, transparency, honesty, clarity, evidence-based, objectivity. Which of these will bring chaos? Attributes of peace. Look at balance, unity, respect, justice, stability, forgiveness, empathy, dialogue, sustainability, coexistence, and environmental harmony. And you see the attributes of peace. Now, let's get to attributes of hatred. Intense emotion, dehumanization, prejudice, close-minded, inflexibility, destructiveness, blindness to positive qualities. As for that one, whether you are doing good, I close my mind and say, oh, it is not true. You are doing nothing. And just because I hate you. Then, continues. Then let's talk about attributes of falsehood, deception, misinformation, intentional inaccuracy, dishonesty, manipulation, and what have you. When you put them together, this is what brings, there are some key threats to sustainable peace: armed conflict, terrorism, violence, extremism, political instability, and what have you. So whatever the peace that we are not enjoying, they are our own making. We don't need UN to sit down to look for peace for us. It is for individuals to look for that peace. Our focus: to strengthen the capacity of young people in schools, collaborate and network with relevant institutions for greater impact, undertake research and support peace and development, baseline survey on socio-economic, legal survey and conflict and development. Yeah. Then the strategies to strengthen capacity, collaborate for greater direct programs on root causes, and school peace clubs, community peace clubs, and what have you. We have started rebuilding, forming peace clubs in a lot of institutions. With a membership of about 5,000, and we want every school to have peace clubs, and we want communities to have peace clubs. We want in the military for us to get peace clubs in the military, the peace club in the prison service, the peace in everywhere, even the security services must also form peace clubs. And this is not for us alone, not for Ghana, this is for the entire world. Because I am not the one who is going to bring the peace, but the quality of love and truth is what is going to do it. And the quality of love and truth does not thrive with money or on money. It thrives on human resources. Once you are a human being and you live these qualities, you'll be promoting peace without cash. You don't spend anything by promoting peace in your homes. So don't tell human to bring you money before you can start doing it. You can do it without spending anything. Sit down with your children at home, your wife at home, your husband at home, and talk about peace. Talk about love and talk about truth. Teach your children the way they should grow with love, and truth. When you teach a child the way he should grow, he will never depart from it. So that we build a future of peace, a future that has a full of harmony, reconciliation, with oneness, seen as one family, because after all, we need nothing but just to develop our souls and to become as perfect as God is. Now, research and innovation for peace, environment, women, marginalized, creative thinking, leadership. So we do a lot of research work to back, and this is why we do collaboration with a lot of institutions to achieve this. Now, my concluding remarks. Benefits of the blueprint for sustainable peace. 2023 alone, economic cause of conflict and violence in the world, this is World Bank report, was $19.1 trillion. Just economic cause of conflict and violence, just that, cost us 19.3 trillion. Now, the annual cost for SDGs from 2023 to 2030 is about 5.4 trillion a year. Now, how do we achieve the sustainable development goals? Once $19.1 trillion are being used for violence and conflict. And we just need this money to bring the sustainable global peace and sustainable goals. Now, when we come to Africa, Africa spends $18 billion a year. Cost of conflict in Africa, that affects about 15 to 20% of our GDP. So if we change our mindset with this blueprint initiative, we can save 15 to 20 billion, we can improve the GDP by that. And we save the world $19.3 trillion. $0.1 trillion. When you go to the GDPs, let me come to the sustainable development goals. We are talking about no poverty, zero hunger, good health, and what have you, good education, and what have you. Let me ask, with this $19.1 trillion that we are throwing overboard, can't it save the world? Can't it reduce poverty? Can't we get that no poverty? So if we don't redirect our path to this sustainable peace, the blueprint for sustainable peace, and stop the way we're behaving, we'll be able to achieve these development goals without any problem at all. And we'll be saving a lot of lives. Now, the blueprint will reduce conflicts. Apart from getting billions of dollars to support development of humankind, we will save the world infrastructure damages, like when you go to Ukraine, you can't even imagine how it was. Loss of human lives, achieve the SDGs, growth in the world GDP by 15 to 20% annually, and 310,000 deaths from violence every year will also be prevented. If we should change just the mindset. And this is what we have to work towards to achieve a global peace. That is why I didn't talk about the peace in Ghana, because the peace in Ghana can be compromised if the external forces do not also have a change. So it should be a global agenda. Now, addressing these threats to peace requires collective action, cooperation, and effective strategies at the national, regional, and international levels. Promoting conflict prevention, fostering dialogue, upholding fundamental human rights, strengthening good governance, addressing root causes of breaches of peace, and promoting sustainable development are essential in building more peaceful and secure world.